I wasn't always so confident and bold to talk about Jesus in public. This is just a bit of my story to encourage you to do the same if you have had the desire at any point to preach the gospel, but you're scared. I was scared too. In fact, I get scared sometimes doing this, from first talking to people one-on-one, then opening a YouTube channel, facing the camera, and then now speaking publicly on the streets and on the roads. It has been a progressive journey with many fears and many struggles. This is God's own woman. This is my story. This is my community. And you're welcome to join us as we grow together in becoming Abba's Delight. I started this journey in 2021, late 2021. Yeah, I remember. Well, starting from the year 2020, I began to realize that the scripture, go into the world and make disciples of all nations, was not a suggestion. It was an instruction that I needed to start taking seriously, but I didn't gain full revelation of this until 2021, in the early part of the year. So it dawned on me in the early part of the year, but fear didn't allow me to start until after many encouragement from both God and my spiritual covering, and then I took the first step. I started with personal evangelism. At the time I was in school, so I would always go to a particular spot where I know that people go to read, and just approach people and talk to them in the best way I could at the time. And I did that for many months, if not up to a year, before we expanded into, bus, what's it called? Anytime I'm in the public transport, I would feel burdened or be instructed to speak about Jesus, and then it became streets. So, well, one thing is that people don't tend to, they look at me strangely for some reason. They believe, I don't know what they believe, but they look at me in a weird way. And then when I'm talking to some guys, they tend to want to go somewhere that I don't want to go. So that has been my major struggle. Well, how I've handled the situation is to always try to take them back to the reason I'm even talking to them in the first place. Take them back to the cross, to Jesus. Our focus is there. So I always try to refocus our discussion in that direction. And then for some people who just seem stubborn, and I've even had cases where I gave my numbers to souls that I talked to, and then time for calling, or maybe I'm just trying to follow up and they're going where I don't know. So for those people, I tend to block them. If I see that they are not respecting the boundaries I'm trying to set, I just block them off. I started street evangelism in 2023. Yes, 2023. God instructed me to go to a particular junction in the area where I used to stay and just stand there and talk in the mornings by 7. I think it's around that kind of 7 o'clock that time. So I would just go, and as time went on, he started changing the location to different places, and we are where we are now. I I initially, in the very beginning, I felt really uncomfortable because I used to be a shy person. I used to be a shy person, so I used to feel very uncomfortable. And when I noticed that people are beginning to stare, I just like lose my train of thoughts, and what I'm saying, like I just cut off and just become a blubbering mess. But anyways, but with time, I found that gotten better, even though I still get uncomfortable because why are they staring at me? I still wonder that, but it's just human to look when you see something that you find interesting. Initially, it was a mandate. Like then, it used to be like, if I don't talk to people, I would not have a good day. Literally, like the day I say no, I'm not talking to anybody, that day is spoiled automatically. Like that's where it was. I'll lose my peace. I'll just keep having like bad even just have a bad day. So that was how I started. So it was more like a do or die affair. Do you get? But then with time, I found out that that thing that was there at the beginning has kind of reduced. So now I know I still have to do it, but then it's no longer more of a struggle. Like it's not such a big struggle, even though sometimes I still get lazy, but that it's now more of a mixture of between a choice and a mandate, but it's more of a mandate than just choosing. I get convicted though. When I know that I'm just being lazy, I get convicted. We all know how God is to flog each of us. So yes, I get convicted when I choose not to go when He has instructed me. For it is that I actually want to go and proclaim the good news of our Lord Jesus Christ. I want to encourage you that it can, well, while it can be difficult sometimes, it's actually a very fulfilling mandate. I don't say job, but it's actually a very fulfilling mandate. Yeah, it's very fulfilling, and I think we have to first realize that God instructed us to go out. He didn't suggest it to us. He didn't tell us that if you like do it, if you like don't do it. But it's more of an instruction, and God takes obedience seriously. So when we come to that realization, we'll begin to find out that whilst God has given us free will, it's something we still have to do. And then when you meet people, because you definitely meet people that might despise your words, you meet people who are rude, who are thoughtless in their actions and their words. But then don't focus on the people, focus more on God. I used to tell myself that if they could humiliate Jesus, if they could talk back at Jesus, like if they could talk down on him, if they could insult him, then who am I that they cannot insult? Whilst it can be painful, yes, but then it's just human beings. You have done your part, you have told them, you've planted the seed in their hearts, whether they like it or not, whether they know it or not, you have planted the seed. And with time, by God's grace, it will germinate. So just do your thing and leave the rest for God. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. It can be scary sometimes, especially if you are more of the introverted type or the shy type or those with low self-esteem. It can be difficult, but greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. There can be scary people out there, but like I said earlier, greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. For the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Yes, the fear can be valid. It can be valid from the emotional standpoint, but it is not logical. God has given us a sound mind, so those fears are not logical. They don't make sense. And if you have a sound mind, you are not supposed to allow those fears to dwell in you. You are not supposed to allow those fears to rule over your life and your decisions. So, and yes, while whilst we go about like talking, preaching the gospel, we should also let our lifestyle match what we are saying. We shouldn't say one thing and then our life, our dressing, our attitude, our character, like every other thing about us is contradicting that thing that you are proclaiming. That will just bring more shame to the name of God, and that will just make people, just make the work difficult for others, because why will you say one thing and then your life is showing another? So I would like to encourage us that if we are ready and willing to go on this journey, that we should first of all surrender ourselves to Him, like let go of everything that you are and allow God to build you and help you be a good ambassador of His kingdom. When God was talking to His disciples and us, He's the one that made us, right? He made male, He made female. So He said that they should go and make disciples of all. He didn't say only the male. He didn't say only the men, but all, both male and female. So that includes us as women. And I think it's part of the reason even men think that, why is this lady preaching? I've gotten the attitude from some men that I've met on the field, but the work is for everybody, whether you're a male or a female. And I believe that you even being a woman will just make things easier in some ways, because you have access that men cannot have sometimes, because you can use your femininity to win over some people, a certain class of people, and while you are even doing that, encouraging other women, you are pushing them. So I started my YouTube channel in I think it was in 2022. I started my YouTube channel. My biggest challenge initially was having a phone, a good phone. But then I was like, at least I have a phone. Why don't I just do the one I can and leave the rest? After all, nobody started perfectly. So that was my first challenge. Then another thing was like, I was always scared that what if people I know see what I'm doing? Do you get, like, what if they see my channel on YouTube? Like, what do they think of me? What do they say? And all. Wow, God is still helping me on that. But we're getting better. And people I know have actually seen it. And I believe it has been a form of encouragement to them. Some of them, in one way or the other. And another challenge was, I used to feel like I didn't have anything to offer, anything to say to people. I didn't have anything to teach. I didn't have any, I like, I felt like I didn't know much. I didn't know anything. But then I began to realize that even the little one I know is huge to someone else. So I just kept doing the little one, the little things I knew about God, about the scriptures, the little revelation that He showed me from the Bible. I just started from there, and we are growing. And that challenge I had was that, when I started, I was still a student. So I don't know if it's common with Nigerian families, but then my family, I'm about to break the rule. I don't know. I think it's common with Nigerian parents and families, but then they believe that once you're in school, you should not do any other thing until you have finished your studies, you've completed your studies, and then you get a job and focus on the job, not doing any other extra stuff. So I think at some point I had to cross that hurdle because I had to explain and let my people know that I must do the work of my father. That's actually why I'm alive. So I must do it if I truly want to live a fulfilled life.